There is a string type in the Python. String type is a very popular one, and similar with Java. One different thing is you can use a double quote or single quote. Both are string. There's no character in Python. If you want to say string the title, that means first letter becomes title, so uppercase. It automatically changes first letter of each word to the uppercase. Then, if you want to change everything to the upper, you are going to use the upper method or lower method. This one I said that you are going to use the macro with F. Then another way is you can also use a format. The string means like a trim. So string method is deleting extra white spaces at the left and right end. If you want to delete only right end, you are going to use R strip. If you want to delete only left end, you are going to use L strip. When you say string variable that strip, it will return the string without any extra spaces. So the extra spaces before this will be gone. So this is another string. Then you can also use slicing. Slicing, think about the substring. So almost the same thing as Java's substring. So starts from index 10 and end with 16, but 10 is inclusive, but 16 is not inclusive. So actually 10 to 16 represents 10 to 15 inclusive. Then you can also use another one. We call this one as slicing. When you slice, you can also jump. So when I say 10 to 16, but jump is 2, that means you are going to get every other character of this string from 10 through 15. Python also have special data type that is a tuple. Tuple is storing multiple data inside the parentheses. So that's how to make a tuple. You can have multiple types, multiple variables. Then you can store that a tuple into a tuple variable, or you can store to each variable. If I have one more value here, Z will have a tuple. Go to here. You can also access only one value by using my tuple, the tuple, then bracket index. So if I say print X, that means print 1, then after one space, my tuple 1, I will be printed. You can access it by using the bracket, but you cannot modify it by using the index number. So this is an error. You cannot assign a value to a certain position of the tuple. This is only one. This is a restriction of the tuple, so you have to remember that. You can also use a for loop when tuple has multiple values. Yeah, even though it has only one value, you can still use a for loop because the tuple is also data structure, so you can use in. Then if you use a for lm in my tuple, that means each value in the tuple by tuple will be returned. When you define a tuple, you can use one element, and comma means flexible. So you may add later. This is a very useful way to use a tuple. Actually, 0, 0, 0 is a tuple, then you are going to assign respectively to the A, B, C. So you can assign multiple variables in one line. Python's default type for number is float, that is a decimal number. So when you do simple calculation like 4 divided by 2, it will return 2.0, not 2. If you want to get the integer value, you have to change the convert to the integer like using int method, or you are going to do int division by doing double slash. We call this one as int division because it returns integer value as the answer. So for example, 5 double slash 2 will return 2. Double asterisk means power. So 3 double asterisk 2 means 3 to the second power. So it is 9.0 because of default type is a float. The next one is about the list. When you make a list, you are going to use bracket. If you want to start from empty list, you can use empty bracket or just a list parentheses. You can assign into the list by using index number like a regular array in the Java. So bicycle 1 will have a value high. So now instead of t, it's gonna have a high. So modifying the list. Append means add at the end. So by is added at the end now. Insert means it's the same thing at index 2. So 0, 1, 2. So right before C is going to add com. So now C becomes index 3. If you want to delete by index number, you're gonna use a del method. If you want to delete by value, you're going to use the remove method. You can think about two pop methods. Pop without anything will remove last value. So you can think about like a stack. Pop 0 will remove first value, so think about Q. So instead of using stack and queue data structure, in Python, we usually use list, then use it as a stack, use it as a queue. When you sort a list, there are two ways. If you want to sort the list permanently, you are going to just use that sort. If you want to sort temporarily and just return that temporary list, but do not change the original, you are going to use sorted. So sorted is void method, does not return anything, but sorted is return method, so you can store it or print it. If you want to sort in reverse order, there are two ways. One is giving the feature, the attribute to the sort method, so reverse is true. Or you can use reverse method. When you want to get the length of a list, you are going to use len method. So after len, you are going to pass the list name or data structure name. Then this one is a follow how to use it. And in the next page, there are some more. How can I combine two lists? You can use a plus operator. So you can make list 3 as list 1 plus list 2. Oh, I want to add only value C. In that case, we are going to put in the bracket, we are going to put C, then add it to the previous other list. If you want to access the last item, instead of using the length -1, now you can simply use -1. You can slice the list by using start and end step. It's the same thing as what we did in the string, what we went over the string. There's one of the easy way to make the integer list by using the range. Range is returning the values from a start to the end or start to the end with the steps. So by using those values, you can just make a list at once. You can use sum, mean, and max method for list if the list is a numerical value only. In that case, you can just use sum method, then pass the list name. Mean and max are the same thing. When you slice list or string, you don't have to use 3 numbers or 2 numbers all the time. If it's obvious, you don't have to use number. So for example, if starting from 0 is obvious, you do not say 0, just a colon to the 4. That means this one means 0 through 4, but 4 is not inclusive, so 0 through 3. Then, if it's obvious to go to the end, you do not need to write the ending. That means this one is starting from 2, then go to the end. You can also start from the backward. So this one means start from the third last one. When I have A, B, C, D, E, you're going to start from -1, -2, -3. And to the end. That means C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E. So this one means until the end, so it's obvious. It starts from 0, then every 2 steps. So if I use this one to the B, C, D, E list, you can see A, C, E. This is a list. I'll show the list. You can copy a list by using reference or by copying the values. By the reference means you are going to just assign the list name. That means it's a shallow copy. So whenever you change numbers 3, numbers will be also changed. But if you want to make the real clone, the real copy, deep copy, you are going to use just a bracket, colon, bracket. That means you are going to get all the values from the numbers list, then assign into numbers 4. So in this case, numbers, when you change numbers is not changed. So deep copy is don't change original. Then shallow copy is changing original.